This video starts with a story that you may know oh too well. It's the I'm gonna just have a look through eBay and Reverb and stuff, just see what's there. I'm not really looking for anything. In fact, I shouldn't get anything. But then you find something. In my case, it was this Soviet era tape delay. It was up for a reasonable price, but I really shouldn't have bought it. I sent them an offer, they sent a counter offer, and then somehow accidentally I clicked on the accept button. But in all seriousness, I picked this tape delay up for 230 quid. That's the kind of price that a common type of copycat tape delay sort of turns up online on eBay and such. So part of this video is comparing how the Echo One racks up against a copycat, and spoiler alert, I think it's better than the copycat. But also its arrival coincided with Heimbach turning up for us recording our third EP. The first one being in December, where we recorded an EP through a rotating speaker and a tape machine. Then the second one, I popped over to Heimbach's in Berlin and we recorded Pipe Dreams and included some funky machines like this pipe tape delay we made from Hose from the Hardware Store. And this time Heimbach popped around for us to record this EP, which is called Ghosts. In fact, it's out on Bandcamp right now, the link is below, but you'll hear more about that later in the video. Anyway, let's have a close look at the Echo One.
It came in its original beautiful rugged box, but as you can see, it itself is also pretty big, oversized and rugged, much like the Soviet era synthesizer, the Estradin, which we reviewed a while back. Anyway, it also came with the schematic, which is very handy, and also all of the booklets that it came with, even though they had slightly fallen apart. This is number 3450. 3,450, that's quite a lot when you think about it. It's a surprisingly big manual for something relatively simple, but as you can see, it spares no expense in trying to describe to you what the fudge it is. The front panel is beautiful. It's very spacious, and that artwork is to die for. Removing the top metal cover shows us the business area. This is where the tape delay is, and as you can see, it goes around a lot of spindles, and it actually is quite a long one when you think about it. This switch engages and disengages the cap stand, so you can turn off the tape from running. It's got an erase head, a play head, and then not one, not two, come on, speed up with your hands, not three, not four, but 5 play heads. That means there's 5 delays. Look at that plug. I loved it so much that I didn't replace it, I just bunged it in really hard into the plug socket. It worked enough. Pushing the on switch, you'll see it illuminates the meter and gets the tape moving. You'll notice that that tape is very worn out. This is actually the original one it came with. We're going to replace it later on in the video. As you can see, these are all of the outputs for it, and they're 5 pinned in, which are quite hard to plug into. So when Heimbach was here, I made a modification of adding jack sockets to the input and the output. At least I think they're the input and the output. It works enough for me, so one can only assume I've done it correctly. Anyway, turning it on, we could see it's working there, and you could see the motor and the flywheel spinning.
Let's turn it on. These are the 5 separate tape heads. You can turn them on separately. So we've got, this is the quickest one. It's kind of cool. We got another one, which is slightly slower. Get some feedback going. Turn off the feedback. Let's try number 3. Bit slower. Number 4. And finally the slowest one, number 5. And then of course we can add them all in at the same time. That's kind of cool. The toms sound pretty good. That's all of them on.
Messing around with a screwdriver to try and remove the erase head from the equation, but it found out that the tape has something else on the other side. Someone download it, turn it around and see what it actually is. How cool is that? Anyway, let's try it with another instrument. It's got a nice subtlety to it, but I can't help but feel we can get a bit more oomph out of it if we put a brand new tape loop on it. So let's try and make one of those. Have to wiggle in the capstan, of course.
Right, let's try and put another loop onto it, shall we? Which one is the tensioner? There's the tensioner. So, got to remember which way it goes around. So it goes around there, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Oh, there's Sharpies on it, so let's just do it. Let's just commit. I don't know how well you can make this out, but there are literally gaps in that tape. Right, so let's cut this to size. Now I've only got sellotape here, but hopefully that'll be fine. Tape loop done, and that goes over there, and then this goes there, and then there, yeah, and then there, and then oh shucks, oh no, oh have I made it too long? Have I managed to wrap it around somehow? No? Oh yes. Oh, bit of a squeeze, but I think I've done it. Yes! Wow, that's a heck of a difference.
This sounds absolutely lovely, but there's something else it can do that a copycat can't do unmodified, I must add, and that's this red button here that makes it a completely wet signal, so there's none of the dry in there. This button, of course, adds more functionality. That's 2 thumbs up from me. Let's see what the drums sound like with the new tape loop. As you can see, it's a nice swash of sound depending on how many tape loops you put on it. But then when you mess with the capstan, it goes all heavens of weird. Or disengage the capstan completely and become a tape DJ. Groovy, baby. How does it match up to the copycat? Bear in mind, I found every single copycat I've ever listened to sound blooming different. But this one's rather subtle. But, you know, it's for reference.
For a kind of budget 70s tape delay that I would put into the same category as the copycat, I've got to be honest, I prefer the sound to it more than the copycat. I think you can get a bit more from it, and the fact it's got more tape heads only adds to that. Unless we're talking about the copycat, then that's, that's a lot more heads, so it sort of blows it out of the water, really. But anyway, for one of the songs Heimbach and I were recording, it was called Ghosts. In fact, that's the title track of the EP. Well, we found that the vocals were really dry and not sounding quite right, and we needed to do something kind of interesting to make them sound a bit more funky. We started by recording the bass of the track straight to the THANKUS 3440 tape machine, so it was me and Heimbach playing live like we did with the rest of the songs. Then we wrote some vocals on top of it, recorded it, but they sounded a little bit dry.
It's just not spooky when you shout Geister and there's no effects. We need more effects, I think.
So since this Echo one literally turned up that morning, it made sense to put it through that. But not only through that, but through a few more tape machines as well. I think a good idea would be cracking out some tape delays and putting it through a send probably, and then see what it sounds like. But I don't think we should settle on one tape delay. We should have a little bit of a comparison. I don't know why. Just see if they're different. Oh, we've got the Soviet Echo EXO. So this one has got what, 5 reed heads? 5 reed heads, a playhead, and a really.
So you go like this, 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 so you get like the longest possible loop, because they didn't use like the Space Echo as this nicely moving constantly,
even though there's this massive space for it.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got the Mark III, I think.
Copycat. Oh, is that the, no, that's not a tube.
Speed. Apparently the tension needs a little bit of joy, but this I've got for the video.
The tape loop is similarly ripped.
Yeah, and then we've got we have another.
That's the 4. I have that one too.
That is this one. Crack the top off. Oh, no tape.
Yeah, so I see us making tape loops. Maestro Echoplex. Oh, what is that? Looks cool.
Yep, Echoplex.
Ooh. When I made a video on the Dynacord, which has a big, nice slider you can play, and people were like, yeah, but the Echoplex has that too. But this is stiff as a board. This is like not playable at all.
No one works, and where's the Verispeed? Oh, that's good.
So a rundown, the Echoplex has a single reed head, but it is on a movable slider, so you could go. This one's of course got 5 tape heads. This one has 4, as we looked at before, but then the Verispeed one actually only has 3. It doesn't really make a difference because we're plugging them all in together.
There we go. So it's the four tape delays gone into this. Stefan's turned the tape around, so it should be playing backwards now, right?
Yes.
Ho, ho, ho. So I think as far as budget tape echoes go, I think this is a pretty good one. A quick look on the internet now, there are still some deals to be had. If you want to check out the EP that Heimbach and I made, the Bandcamp link is below. There's also a video that Heimbach's done today about a rugged British prototype portable recorder, like a Nagra, but by Ampex, and that is also documenting a couple of the other songs on the EP. Over the next week, I'm putting a bunch of extra videos and also samples that you can use from this tape delay over on Patreon, so if you want to support these videos, check them out. But if not, definitely check out the Bandcamp link below. Anyway, I'm Look Mum No Computer. That is the Echo one. Have a lovely time.